This conference statement is being issued jointly by the Catholics in Politics and its Business Leaders Forum, Catholic Action Nigeria, and the Catholic Laity Council of Nigeria, in order to address pressing matters that have an impact on the well-being of all Nigerians. In many ways, we are at a crossroads in our lives as citizens and as a putative civilization. These times call for people of goodwill to exercise prophetic authority in civil society. It is to this duty that we gather with the spirit of the prophet Amos on social justice to address some grave present danger facing Nigeria and millions of people, God's children, whose destinies could be jeopardized without the assent of truth and justice in the situation we face in Nigeria today. Our approach to sounding a wake-up call draws from the social teachings of the Catholic Church, as I had indicated in my earlier preamble, and from a rational recognition of the fact that values shape human progress. Our approach, therefore, in this approach, we call on all people of goodwill, no matter the faith they profess, to share in this clarion call based on our shared humanity and the primacy of the dignity of the human person, whether they be Muslims, Christians, or animists for that matter. Amongst the issues to be addressed are the legitimacy challenges from disputed elections, now before tribunals, the plight of the people ravaged by poverty and burdened by public policy choices that seem to crush their will, especially the vulnerable and the weak, who, by the way, have a very special place in God's heart. And then, of course, the distractions, both at home and abroad, that have drawn decision makers in Nigeria away from the central issue of care for Nigerians who are suffering as they engage in adventures around the world and within that are almost irrelevant to the quality of life, the dignity of the people of Nigeria. This is why our prayers today include a call for impartiality, justice, and accountability from the Honorable Justices of the Presidential Elections Petition Tribunal. I mean, we all know how a certain pervasive feeling that justice doesn't happen in Nigeria has led to many people feeling despondent, but we want today to challenge that disposition. As representatives of Catholics in politics, industrialists, and the entire laity of the Catholic Church, we are here to remind the Honorable Justices that all eyes are on the judiciary and that the nation eagerly awaits their judgment on the presidential elections petitions that are before them. We implore the Honorable Justices to consider their role as safeguarding our democracy and to ensure that the verdict is not tainted by any external influences or personal biases. We emphasize the need for justice to prevail without fear or favor, guided solely by the principles of fairness and truth. We unequivocally state that Nigerians expect justice to be served in a manner that reflects the will of the people, and that the honorable justices should acknowledge the weight of their responsibilities and understand that their decision will shape the course of our nation's future. We also firmly believe that there won't be anarchy and heaven will not fall when a just and transparent judgment is served. In fact, the contrary is the case. The thing that will push us into anarchy is for injustice to prevail. And we have the prophets Amos and the history of the Jewish people to remind us of that. And so we strongly condemn in any form threats against the honorable justices in an attempt to influence judgment. And we want to send a clear message to politicians that no amount of threats or intimidation will weaken the determination of Nigerians across ethnic and religious backgrounds who are united in their pursuit of a new Nigeria. Because that's something that is a matter of desperation, a new Nigeria. We urge our politicians to respect the integrity and independence of the judiciary and allow justice to be served without intervention. And we urge the honorable justices to recognize the historical significance of their decision as a fair and just judgment will emancipate Nigeria from its present hardships and burden of bad fiscal and monetary policies. On the hardships and economic challenges currently faced by the common people of Nigeria, we urge politicians across party lines to put aside party differences, collaborate in the best interest of the Nigerian people, and take swift and decisive action to address the prevailing economic crisis. We strongly condemn the holiday prayers in monetary values sent by the Senate President to the inbox of federal legislators. In a country where millions of our fellow citizens struggle to provide basic necessities for their families, it is distressing to witness our representatives indulging in such extravagant practices. It is disheartening, therefore, to witness these same legislators who have supported and endorsed policies that have exacerbated the hardships faced by our citizens now engaging in ostentatious displays of sharing our commonwealth in the form of prayers to their bank accounts. This clearly shows the disconnect between our lawmakers and the realities on the ground. The Nigerian people are not interested in empty gestures. Nigerian people clearly are not interested in empty gestures. They yearn for tangible actions that will alleviate their suffering and bring about real change. We call on the Senate President and federal legislators to show accountability and to immediately redirect their focus on policies and actions that address the pressing needs of our citizens. On the military junta in the Niger Republic, we call on ECOWAS heads of state to lend an attentive ear to the multitudes of voices that have expressed opposition to military intervention. We urge ECOWAS heads of states to recognize the importance of engaging with stakeholders who advocate for peace, reconciliation, and respect for the will of the Nigerian people. We call upon ECOWAS heads of states to leverage the diplomatic avenues at their disposal and engage in dialogue, mediation, and negotiation to find a way forward that is acceptable and truly represents the wishes of Nigerian citizens. Now is the time for them to demonstrate their commitment to values of regional cooperation, inclusivity, and respect. or sovereignty. Dear friends, I want to thank you so very much for your kind attention. I hope that we will be able to extend these thoughts to all Nigerians everywhere through you, so that we may be engaged and rescue our country from the slide into which it has fallen. Thank you all.